Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. This is going to be a short stream. Yeah, that kind of fits with the yellow snowballs short stream. Never mind. So yeah, I'm going to keep this relatively short because I'm not feeling all that spiffy. So I'm going to get a nap and then get back to work. But here is the brief update on the Haxmas snowball game, so to speak. So, as you've seen, we've got Mr. Snowman, a little small arena just for testing. This is a test map. This is not, by any chance, the final. You can see there's drinks all over the place. And there's a new meter right there above the health meter. Yeah, that's so that if you're throwing snowballs, and, okay, no problem. You can see throwing the snowballs now has a sound effect for hitting, particle effect for hitting, and a sound effect for throwing. So those are good. Everything replicates the way it's supposed to. But that yellow bar, well, you can throw yellow snowballs. And you can get 4 shots per bladder fill, I guess you could say. And the drinks are just a way to walk over and refill your hydration so that you can actually refill your P-bar. So, you know, those are a good thing. So you can actually fill those back up. So you got your animation for throwing. Once you're out, you can't keep throwing them. So these drinks are the way to actually fill them up. But there's 3 other ones. This one here, and this one here. And they're bottles of alcohol. And, well, if you drink that, your vision gets blurry. And I'll probably see if I can come up with a way of messing with your movement. Like if you try to move left, you actually turn right. If you try to go forward, you actually back up. Things like that. So just to make the drunk effect a little bit more interesting. Besides just having a blurred screen, which is bad enough, is you're trying to throw snowballs and you can't see where you're going. So, yeah, that would be bad enough. And the effect lasts for about 15 seconds and goes away. So that. And that's really all that was in the update that I got done last night before I went to bed. And, you know, I'll try to get some more done this evening. But you may be noticing these billboards around here. This is something for another video. But you see they keep changing the billboards. Small size, medium size, large size. They're actually sizable. And again, I'll cover that in another video. But, yeah, that's it for this update. Yeah, I told you this was going to be a short video, but I didn't want to make it 3 minutes long. So with this update, like I said, everything is working with replication. And I can just quickly go in here and add a second player, new window, and I can go ahead and resize it so we can get a view from both perspectives. Alright, so that's the client on the right, and this is the server on the left. Come on, give me the corner. Alright, so let's run the server right over here and park him in front of the these pickups, and we'll go back over here to our client. So the client views, of course, work the way they're supposed to. You can see the snowballs being thrown, no problem. Sounds replicate. A little weird issue of I'm actually hitting the target, but occasionally the snowball will just go off in its own little path. Don't know what's going on there. And the yellow snowballs, you can actually see the correct color snowballs being thrown. So you can see the meter went down, so I can come over here, and I'm looking at the wrong screen here. You can pick up these, and they appropriately vanish. And the game appropriately locks up because, you know, Unreal Engine 4. So yeah, you can see they vanish the way they should, and you can't pick up any more if you're already full. So, yeah. And the drunk effect. It will stack. So as you can see, if you keep dumping your yellow snowballs and you keep grabbing the alcohol, it will stack up your blurriness. So the more alcohol you consume, the more blurry your vision gets until it just goes away. So that. Everything replicates, everything works the way that it should. I still haven't resolved the camera issue. Snap. I snap you. I snap you. Okay, that's just stupid. So yeah. Everything is replicating the way that it should be. I haven't set up the damage meter so that the regular snowballs or the yellow snowballs do any damage just yet. But that will happen. And one more alcohol over here. Oh, I'm full. So, as with what I keep saying, if you have any suggestions to add to this, this is a community project. So if you... slap you in the face. If you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see in this, you gotta let me know. As it stands now, I plan on doing it as a full everyone versus everyone, no team, just whoever's in here, the free-for-all, in other words. So what I'm thinking about is assigning the regular snowballs, the white ones, as doing, say, wow, it is absolutely being crappy tonight. Probably because I have multiple projects open at the same time. Regular snowballs would do like 5 damage, and then yellow snowballs could do like 10 damage. And once your damage meter reaches 0, then there you go. Let's get drunk. Get extra drunk. Let's get super drunk. So once you get to that magical 0 spot, then I'm thinking you should be removed. You're done with the match, and instead of going back to the main menu, maybe just turning you into a ghost camera. Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday of talking about that. You know, that's an idea of constructing like a snow wall, like hitting the E key or whatever key binding for that, and then whenever you hit it, your character crouches down. Which I will add the crouch in. I just haven't added the crouch just yet, but your character will crouch down. And see, like, there's a little mound of snow right there. Let me go back into one-player mode so it's easier to see what I'm doing. So yeah, like these are just some random rocks that I put in here and some random bushes, but like that, I'll create a static mesh that whenever you're, like a crouch, build snow wall. That's a good idea. So you can build like a little small U-shaped fortification to protect you from the sides and the front, and then maybe have it to where it's only lasts for a minute or something like that, and then you got to go and find some more another patch, sit down, or you crouch down to harvest snow. Maybe put a meter on the the user interface, like with the health and the P meter for your yellow snows. That little bar down there, that'll all change, because just needed something to be functional. But yeah, I like that idea of being able to crouch down and harvest snow. Once you got enough snow to build a fortification, then you could actually then hit the F key to create a fort and just build a little fortification wall in a U shape around you, and you can sit there and crouch to hide behind it, or stand up and throw snowballs. See, I've already got a coffee cup in here. So there's the coffee cup. It's currently right now affecting your P meter, but So yeah, I can easily change the coffee cup over. So you say like a fire drum, just to add another meter in, which would be like blue color or whatever for your temperature rating. Kind of go for a division kind of deal where you're in survival. You always have to worry about finding warmth. Would say also if you're running, wouldn't that also increase your warmth? Because your body, you're going to start getting hot because you're running. And then maybe you just run around for getting your health back up. Or if you're stopped and you're doing a fortification, then yeah, if you're in a fort, you're going to start getting cold. So the bonus of building up your snow and building a little snow fort, then the downfall is while you're stationary inside there, your cold's going to go up. You're going to start getting colder and colder and colder until you start freezing, and then you can't throw snowballs or whatever. So yeah, have it to where you just can't shoot. You can't throw snowballs at all while you're there. But the more features you add like that, yeah, these were the regular third-person animation blueprint animations, the regular jump, the regular movement. I show that in a lot of my videos. Is whenever I'm actually doing the thing, this is still the original mannequin, and essentially I took this third-person animation blueprint and I retargeted it. And the characters, I just create an animation folder, and whenever I retarget it, I just give it a different name. The one thing I always do with the Cinti assets is I create my own new skeleton, and all that is you go into, because here I got multiple packs in here, and to kind of show you, because I don't have all of them retargeted, if I go into, we'll say, I did the town pack, so let's do the Polygon War pack. I can go in here to the characters and you left click on here, shift left click, then control left click to get all the actual skeletal meshes. But what I do is I take one of the skeletons and I just drag it into my mesh folder and I rename it. Yeah, I love them. I've got all of them. They're an addiction. So once you've got them, and especially if you're going to use multiple of the Cinti Studios asset packs in one project, their skeletons are the same thing. So all I've done is I made a copy of this one and make sure that you're in the humanoid rig. All of them are except for one, I think, but just copy that over to a mesh folder, and I name it sk_polygon or sk_polygon skeleton, and that's all I do to it. And see, it's already set up to the humanoid rig and everything is good, and then I retarget off of this skeleton. But if I want to add in other asset packs, all I've got to do is go to the character folder, select all the skeletal meshes, and then right click, and I can select skeleton and assign skeleton. Yeah, I redo the pose on the UE4 mannequin. So the UE4 mannequin isn't a Y pose. I think it's called an A pose or whatever. But when you look at the UE4 mannequin skeleton, you can see he's in a Y pose versus a T pose that everybody else on the planet uses. But if you look closely, the upper arm is fine, but the lower arm is flexed forward. So when you're doing it, the way I do it is I grab the, and I got a tutorial on Cinti's Discord channel also, but you grab the upper arm and just rotate it up by 50. The lower arm, you rotate it down by 10 and back by 20, and then you raise the hand up by 10. That gives you a perfect T-pose for your UE4 mannequin. This works for any retargeting project that you're using the UE4 mannequin and your characters have a T-pose. This is how you set a perfect T-pose. Then all you have to do is just make sure you select use humanoid rig, hit modify pose, use current pose, and then hit save, and you're good to go. So then when you retarget your animations from the third person animation blueprint or the animation starter pack, or I've got the pedestrian animation pack from the marketplace, anything that's using the UE4 mannequin skeleton, you can retarget. So like if I add in, which I need to add in here anyway, because I want to get the crouch animations. If you go to the market, you can get the animation starter pack right here. Select add to project, and this one is Haxmas. So add to project, and it's done already. So now with the animation starter pack, you've got all these different animations. I can bring in the crouch animations from here, but you have to remember though, is you're gonna have to go back in here. It comes with its own mannequin, so you have to do the same thing. Go into the mesh folder, go into the skeleton, and retarget the arms. And that's just, again, select humanoid rig, grab the upper arm, up 50, lower arm, down 10, back 20, and hand up 10. Gives you a perfect T-pose, so when you retarget, everything just kind of matches up pretty well. A lot of times people try to retarget, and the hands of the characters tend to cross over. It's because you didn't do the lower arms and the hand correctly, and that's a common thing. So modify a pose, use current pose, and save. So now if I want to retarget just specific animations, I can, or I can retarget the animation blueprint. But in this case, I'm just going to grab a couple that I might need, and I can retarget them. Death animation, that's the other thing, is I like having a death animation. So I go to my character animations and montages. I'm going to create another one just because, and I'm going to call this death. Then I'll go back into the animation starter pack. I'm going to grab death 1. That's the only one I want for right now. Right click, retarget animation, duplicate, select my SK polygon skeleton, hit change so I can tell it what folder to go to, animation and death, and that's it. You can see everything's nice and neat. They're both in T-poses. Hit retarget, and we're done. And there's our character doing a death animation. Now I'm going to do something else as well. I'm going to hit save, but then I'm going to pause it. I'm going to fast forward it to the end. And now this is my death pose. So I want to create an asset, create animation, current pose, and I'm going to put that in my animation death folder, and I'm just going to call this dead_1 because it was death_1 that I was copying from. So now I have a dead pose, and I can save it. So if we want our character to die, then I can now go to my animation blueprint, the character animations, and I want to open up my player character because I want to add a variable in there so that we can die. There's my drunk ass. Still got to clean up everything. It's kind of a mess right now. What I'll do is I'll rearrange the way these are done and give them custom events as well, so that I can call on the first person view or third person view. But to set up a death animation, the only thing I really need to do is, since my health is replicated already, I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call this is dead ? And I am going to, well, I'm going to have to revamp this to replicate it, but I want to do replicated on the is dead, and we'll just do a keybind to get this to actually work. But what we'll do is we'll now go back into our animation blueprint. So you can see try get pawn owner. I'm going to go ahead and cast to my player. I could probably do cast to character, but I'm not doing any bots. By the way, hey Donut, what's up? Get from my try get pawn owner, and then going to drag this guy, shove him up here, and connect that. So as player base, we want to get is dead. Let's create another variable, and I always call this dead meat. Lack of anything else better to call it. So by putting this in here, we can call this from the animation blueprint. So now I'll just run a branch. Because we can reverse this, we can become undead if we want to. Which is fun to do with the Cinti stuff, because you have zombies in a pack. But anyway, we'll take and we will set dead meat on both here. So true and false. And the top one we want to check. So if we is dead is true, then dead meat. So to get that to actually work, one of the things that I also did was I added a slot default group, which all you have to do is just drag off from your default and type in default and use that one right there. What that's going to do is allow us to call animation montages, which is what I use for the throw animation. Howdy, howdy. So now we can actually go into our state machine, and we want to only go from idle and run. So what I'll do is I'll just come down here and add a state. We'll call that death. Yes, my OCD, I have to use the capital. So death. This is our first portion of that. So our death animation, how do we get there? We're dead meat. So we'll just drag that in there and get dead meat. Go back to our default, and then when we are doing the death animation, we have our death animation we retargeted. Connectorama. Shove that in there. Go back to here. Now we want to go into a dead state. So add state, dead. So how do we get to this? Well, first off, we can use our dead animation, which is really just a pose, but still, nobody likes a poser. Go back to our default. To get from our death animation to our dead state, yeah, I will rework the entire the camera system and the turn system and everything else. That's just something I'm gonna have to do. You know, it will be probably boring to watch, so I got to redo it. We want to get the ratio, timer remaining ratio death 1. So you're essentially wanting to set your timer, and we'll do a float less than. So pretty much we need to know that it is now, put a 0.1 in there, this animation has ended. So now that we can go into the dead status, and just for respawn purposes, if we want to go from our state of being dead back to alive again, then essentially we need to make sure that we are dead meat, not bouillon. Yeah, I've kind of been focused in on other things of getting some of the features and functions working. So that's that. This is complete for our death. And to simulate the act of being dead, I will tie this into a health check, which, you know, would be event any damage, and then we'd go from here, do a health check, and then we'll get health. No, that's no problem. No problem. So we get health, and then we are going to subtract. I'll come back through and make sure everything replicates properly on this, so that damage is handled correctly through networking. So this is what we're doing, and when we get any damage, we're going to subtract that damage from our health, and then we can set our health. Is dead needs to go back to our, no, it needs to go back to our player stats, so it's in the right spot. And what the heck, we'll throw drunk in there as well. So we set our health, but since we're handling damage at this point, it kind of makes sense to go ahead and say, okay, well, If our health is less than or equal to 0, then let's throw our branch in. If that is the case, then we want to set is dead to true. And here's where I would go ahead and do a custom event and multicast dead, and go ahead and run that multicast and reliable, because you want someone's death to be a reliable thing, right? So when we're in this, actually we can take this back off of here and apply this to multicast dead. So now we can actually set is dead to true in our death sequence, and that's going to initiate in the animation blueprint the animation for us to actually die. So with that, I would actually finish out what else I'd wanted. The next thing I would definitely do is get a reference to my character movement and set movement mode. It automatically defaults to none, so we can leave it at that. So now when we're dead, we can't move and we're dead. So if we want to actually respawn ourselves, a simple system is we'll just get back in the same spot, or we can fancy it up and get respawn locations and that kind of stuff. But for now, we just want to die and be dead. So, but anything else you want to do in here for the death sequence, like say, okay, for the giggles right now, we'll run a delay, and we'll make that delay 5 seconds, and then we can set our health back to 100, and then to continue on with that, we can also go ahead and set is dead to false, so we're no longer dead. That'll snap us back to location again, you know, standing back up, and then we will go ahead and set movement again. And remember, it defaults to false or none, so what we want to do is just change that back to walking, and that will let us respawn, essentially. It's just a quick little thing. I actually have, I believe, in here right here.
No! No! No!
Just a fun little death sound. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make that a cue. And I've already created a sound attenuation for close, so that you don't hear it from all the way across the map when somebody dies. So I'm just going to move that to right there so I can see that. And that's good. We can set this to our close sound attenuation. Save that. And now, when we actually do our dying stuff here, let's go ahead and move that over to there. And play sound at location. The sound that we want is no cue. Location, just grab a reference to our mesh and get world location. And yes, I have so many OCDs about where I put things. There. If you wanted to change the volume, you could change the volume there. The pitch, you know, you could set all that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about the attenuation settings because my sound cue already has that in there. So can now come off from here and select DEA, what do I call it? Multicast is dead. So right there. No, and I don't want multicast. What are you doing, dumbass? Since we multicasted there, we need another custom event, which is going to be server dead, And we need to make sure we go ahead and run on server. Reliable. Switch has authority. And then we just want to call our multicast event. So that's that. Now, whenever we actually call dead, now I could do custom dead. So actually, we don't even need to worry about that. We can actually just go with server dead. We can just pull that in there. So now, whenever we do our death thing, this is what happens. But I can also, just to show what's happening here, since I don't have anything that causes us damage, I'm just going to do keyboard 1 whenever I press it. Apply damage. And who am I applying damage to and how much? Let's do 50 damage and apply damage to self-inflicted wounds. I guess the rest of it doesn't really matter all that much. And let's see if that actually does damage us. Oh no, I already had one whenever I was testing the drunk thing. Yeah, right there. Sorry, don't need that anymore. When you're testing effects, it comes in handy to have like this, where I'm testing my death function by doing keyboard 1. So that's what I was doing with the drunk to test it. So I hit 1, you see my health went to half. No, hit it again. No! No! And I'm dead. Now I'm alive. So you could have like set actor location, you could turn off visibility, you can do all the other stuff you want to do for your death animation sequence. No! 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 So there you go. And automatic respawn. So that's that. And like I said, I'm going to leave that in for testing, because I'm also going to do apply damage with the snowballs, things of that nature. And the actual snowballs themselves, weapons, projectiles, got regular snowball and yellow snowballs. So with all this right here, I got my hit component. This is just so that I can actually destroy the snowball, and I can also do the yeah, I can't talk tonight. Do the emitter, which I created a custom emitter just for that. Well, I modified one that was from something else, and the impact sound, and then the delay in actually destroying the actual snowball itself. So that's universal between this and the yellow snowball. And I did not put, well, I did put a collision mesh around the snowball. So I can now go back in here and right click on component begin overlap, and I can use this to actually process doing damage. So other actor, and only when it hits other actor, which is why I put the collision on there separate. I'm going to cast to player, and if you had bots in here, you want us to damage every kind of character in there, living character, so to speak, then you would do cast to character, and it would work for them and for the players. But since I only want these to affect the player, so I'm going to cast to my player. And then what I'll do here is apply damage. And from here, I want to go to the damaged actor. So it's actually going to damage the actor. And sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. But sometimes you're going to have to come back in here and put self on one of those. But now the snowball will or should cause damage. and I will come back in as needed and replicate as needed. So I've already gone through here and made sure that every part of this replicates. Or if you come down here, like component regulates, that's already set up, or replicates, that's already set up. So in theory, if I add a second player in, and I go through and test quite a bit. What I'll do is keep it simple, stupid. I'm going to put the server off screen, and we just care about what happens to the client. You can find my mouse cursor. So here's the client. We're going to stick him right here, and the hitting 1 is not replicated. That's only going to work for the server, and it doesn't matter. I'm just testing it. So we come over here, and
No! No!
you can see the server die during the test feature. One thing I did not do. How much damage? Dumbass. 10 damage. You guys let me do that too. You let me forget adding the damage in there. I blame you guys. It's not me. I'm awesome. I don't make mistakes. Bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah, sorry. I had to clear my throat there. So, I'm going to take the server and I'm going to miss. Alright, you see the client's health bar went down. Looking at the wrong screen. I'm looking at the client screen while I'm throwing with the server screen. So, you see, I just killed somebody with snowballs. So let's actually come over here and change up. We'll go to first person. And what I'll do is I'll grab the server so you can see his health bar. Totally not reliable damage there. You suck. Die. So, the problem with that is, well, let's just hit escape. The snowball is doing damage. It's doing what it should do, but it's not doing it reliably for some reason. So, we'll go back here and make sure our replication is good. Now, I would need to go back in here and do the same thing for the yellow snowball. And see on begin play, I set lifespan so that it automatically, no matter what, the snowball dies after 2 seconds. So, you know what we did was collision on component begin overlap, and we needed to cast to our player. Connect that to here. I'll just do this quickly. We'll head back into the player and ensure that that works correctly. We need to apply damage after learning how to spell properly. Damaged actor. And we're going to do 20 damage with the yellow snowballs. So just to check to see if it was, and it should not be, get a reference to self on there. That shouldn't have been a problem. Sometimes, you know, it never hurts. And I'll just do a quick test through, and then I'll go back through on the actual player character. Well, it seems to be now doing damage to everybody. So yeah, that actually, no, undo that and from here. See, if I remove that and then go back, we didn't get reliable damage. But by adding that in there, it worked, but it worked against everybody. So we don't want that. And see, everybody's getting damaged now.
No!
And I just killed myself with a freaking snowball. Regular snowball is 10, yellow is 20. Because technically, this is what actually did the damage there. Damage event. No, I'm not doing a cast node. Till I have not had enough sleep. So let's try that with the snowball. Yeah, see, it's back to still doing damage to both. Let's see here. I do this stuff all the friggin' time, and then it'll be one little small minor thing that I'm forgetting, and it just goes to shit. I'm applying damage. Other actor. Let's actually look at the player character, see if I missed something in there. See, this is why I live stream. Because when I screw something up, you guys see it. Not only showing you the A roll. Oh, this is how it works. And then there. Being able to troubleshoot problems is always an important thing. I made that reliable switch, multicast. Yeah, that shouldn't be anything in the player. I'm sorry, did I save something? Alright, so the damage itself. Cast to player base, apply damage. And the snowball is the root, so that's not the problem. And it should not be reflecting back. I've not had this problem before. Yeah, see, killing myself here. So, whenever things are getting stupid, event any damage. Let's see here, on the... It won't be on the throwing the snowball portion, because the snowball itself is what's actually applying the damage. Alright, so I may have to break this down and actually replicate that. Because it should not be reflecting across the board. Let me actually close this other project here, and all else fails, pull up a refresher. Because I did the other project the other day, which was this guy, the other shooter project that's going on, and no problems with that. Or was there? Wait a minute, no. With this one, I've got player versus player disabled, so it won't pay to look at that one. Definitely not the FPS series. Yeah, I'm just having a ball here. Yeah, this one, the There's player versus player damage in this one. See what happens when I plan on doing like a 10-15 minute video. Then I get carried away, and next, I'm streaming for an hour again. So, come on, open up. And the player, the damage is being done with... See, I'm almost organized in this one. And the shooting system, using a line trace. And the hit actor, yeah, I did do a server damage deal. Alright, so this is what I ended up having to do, was create a custom event. So that's what I figured. So with the applied damage... Alright, so you need to have all those variables in there. So come over here and make a custom event. And I'm going to do multicast damage. Did I actually do multicast on the other one? Yeah, see, event any damage, I did a death sequence here, and then the death. But, yeah, I didn't do, I just event any damage right there. Server apply damage. So, that's what I'll end up having to do, is that. So, it actually won't be in the player base, it will actually probably then be... Yeah, in the applied damage, so that's going to be in the actual other things. So we don't need that. We need to go... I'm sorry, yeah, we do need it, because we're actually in the actual damage causer at this point. So we're in the snowball. This is where the damage is being applied. And what I'll do here is, on that multicast, we'll go ahead and we'll break that off. We'll drag this down over here so we can apply damage with the multicast event. And then, since we want all this other information there, I'll drag off from the damaged actor and I'll drop it on there. And then the damage, we'll drop that in there. And just for the grins, I'm going to add the rest of them in here, even though I don't need them all. So now this just passes right through. And then, if needed... Custom server damage, and again we're just going to pass right through, and we'll do switch as authority, and we'll then call that multicast. Multiplayer replication, awesome stuff. Then we can go ahead and pass through again. And I'm just going to pass those three. If I need these other ones, I can always come back. Well, screw it. It doesn't hurt to go ahead and put them in there. So just passing it all through, it ties them all together. So now whenever I come in here and do server damage, I still have all the same variables that I need. So now I can plug in as player based to damaged actor. Unfortunately, you get target on both of them. It's this one, and I didn't need that. And I can't remove it. So the only way to actually remove it is to actually, sadly, just delete that, and remake it. So this was server damage, run on server, reliable. So now you don't drag over target, dum-dum. So we'll do that, we'll do that. We need the base damage. Grab that one, and I never use a damage class, so I'm just going to skip it. I don't need it. It's still going to be there and work. So now whenever I do server damage, then I can connect this to here and plug in. This is Snowball, so that was 10 damage. Let's see if that took care of the problem. I would actually have to be able to hit the target. Nope.
No! No!
I just hit the wall. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm just screwing this all up. How the hell am I screwing this all up? Oh well. Let me recalibrate the brain here. I was getting ready to actually take a damn nap, so. So whenever I did it in this other project, this was actually done through here. Server apply damage, and all I did was run on server, and hell, that's all I did was run on server. That's it. That's all I did. I didn't actually run the multicast event. So let's try it that way. So run server damage here and apply damage. Hook in this. Actually, we need to make sure that is run on server. Run the damage. The damage does not have to pass through because it's going to be here anyway. So let's actually just put damage here, and we just needed the damaged actor. So that's how we're applying the damage. It'll actually get the damage from here through there, but we can plug it up and put it here. It doesn't matter where it goes. Oh. I'm just striking 1,000 with this shit right now. Event in damage. This should not be the problem. The players should be good. It's going to be in the snowball, and then once I get the snowball fixed, then I'll do the actual process there. I'm not sure if it's because I'm also having an event fire from there, and then an event firing from the collision box. So let's see here, because this is separate. This is just what's going to happen whenever it hits something, and that doesn't do any damage at that point whatsoever. So now with all that disabled, if I go in here and hit the player, nothing happens. I like firing things off from a line trace. It's so much easier than dealing with freaking projectiles. So, I mean, I could come in here and from other actor, going from there, and sequence it. Drag that down to there, and apply damage. And this should only affect the hit actor being player. It should not transfer to both players at the same time. Yeah, okay.
No.
So yeah, the fix there would be that, but
No.
to keep him from doing the no shit over and over and over again. Okay, so that was the fix here. I just put a sequence node in on this same hit. Since I was running double hits, that means I don't really even need the collision sphere that I put in there. But all I did was on the component hit, did a sequence and ran from other actor, then triggers it this way. And the only other thing that was testing with the client, so it's working. So just need to do the same thing in the yellow snowball. So we'll Control C on that one, and we'll go back into the yellow snowball. And we don't need this because that apparently doesn't work. Grab this guy. Connect it in. Change the damage to 20. Connect this guy to here, and the yellow snowball is done. Now in the player in our death sequence, just want to go back into stop it from doing the repeated all this stuff over and over and over again. So right here where we're doing the sound cue, what I'll do is I'll just grab all this stuff right here, drag it to the side a little bit. I'll move it back in just a moment, but I'll come in here after I set my movement mode. I will do a do once. So it'll only do this one time. It'll stop it from spamming the the sound effect whenever you die every time. And you can run this and this, move it all back over, and then from here, yeah, once this is already done, you could potentially have it reset. So let's see if that will tie in correctly. That way it'll reset itself after the death happens. You'll be able to kill him again. So alright, so server is about to die here.
No!
And we need to test the yellow snowballs. So, okay, he respawns. And what the hell? Oh, we know the regular snowball's working, and the yellow snowball is not. And all I did was I put sequence in there, sequences in there, cast to the player, do 20 damage. Holy hell. It's exactly the damn same. Oh, sometimes I just amaze myself. So I'm just going to make sure that I got everything the same here. Control C, go in here and delete all this. Control V, paste in the other version. So that goes to there. Other actor comes down to here. Hit component goes to here. Here, sorry. And that's exactly the same. And we're changing the damage to 20 in the yellow snowball. How can that not work? It's the same shit. Yellow snowball. Yes, it applied damage. Applied damage. Need to refill. And then it wasn't doing any more damage. Oh. Alright, so Unreal Engine 4 is absolutely doing weird shit. It's locked up right now.
No! No! No!
I have no idea what's going on here. Yeah, everything just quit working, so... It's just another one of those times where it's time to just quit while you're behind. Alright, worked just fine this time.
No! No!
And the yellow snowballs killed home cheese. Regular snowballs are not doing any damage, neither of those. Oh, explain that to me. Why must you mess with me? This is fine. The snowballs are fine. But after my death event, that's fine there. We're not doing any reset, so after respawn, is dead is back to false. We're back able to move again. Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. Because, you know, it went from working to not working. Don't need that up. Because whenever I ran my... That's all I ran there. And on my death sequence, same thing there. Other variables in here for disabling scopes and stuff like that too. But and resetting the amount of grenades you had. And it's setting a respawn location, which I'm not doing here yet. After being killed, disable all that, set the location, set is dead. Well, let's see if maybe that's just a sequence of events deal. I unchecked dead, then I did health. I don't see where that should matter. But then again, this is Unreal Engine 4. Weird shit always happens. But usually only to me, though. So, not dead, new health, and now can move. And you see why so few people actually succeed in getting a multiplayer game out? Alright,
No!
die.
No! No!
So I'm going to switch over to the server, and he can run. He's alive. Go back over here to the client. Yep, yes, that's what the difference was of where you had to have the health variable. So after you do your death stuff, wait your respawn time, set is dead to false, then change your health, and then allow your movement. Having this here and here, this here, was enough to break it. So that's all it took, is just switching the position of those two, and now death is working. Don't really need that anymore. But yeah, that's my multiplayer replicated health and safety check there. So even any damage, whenever you get damage, you take your health, you subtract the damage, set your health to that new value, check to see if it's less than or equal to 0. If so, then set your death sequence to start. And your death sequence then is multicasted. Set is dead to true. Disable your movement. Undo once. Just to stop the repeating. And I can probably go ahead and relink this back in, because I didn't test that. Let me test that really quickly. And you're going to run back and forth and test and test and test to make sure that everything is the way it should be. And what did I just change? I didn't change anything, and now it quit working. I didn't change a thing. I changed nothing, and it didn't work just then. I changed nothing, and now it's working again.
No! No!
Unreal Engine 4 does weird shit to me. I don't know if it does this to you guys, but it does absolute weird shit to me. Okay, see, he didn't repeat the sounds there, so probably need to go ahead and loop that. So now we can loop this back to the reset button. So once it does all this stuff, it then resets the do once, so it should allow him to do the death sounds either way. You see that? Server's not taking damage again. All I did was I stopped it and restarted it, and now it works. I don't know.
No! No!
There we go. And if I shoot him, he won't do the noise because he's, you know,
No! No!
reset. And it stopped it while he was dead, so. And there goes no damage again. And it's going to freeze up. Okay, I've had it with fucking Unreal Engine 4. Unless I have obviously missed doing something somewhere along the line. And you can see that it's actually freezing up here. But it is not doing any damage whatsoever. And it's absolutely random. So, again, I come over here and no damage. Exit game, rejoin. I didn't change any of that stuff. It's doing 0 damage. It's working for the server, but the client is unreliable. Multicast reliable. Run server reliable. Multicast reliable. It had to be multicast or else you don't see them being thrown. Playing the montage. See, I've jacked the play rate up to 4 so the animation plays faster. Oh, that's fine. Let's run on server, reliable, switches authority, multicast. Yeah. I don't know why that it's being unreliable. So whenever it starts doing crap like this, the best thing you can possibly do is that. Make sure everything's good and saved. And that. So, yeah. It's best to just walk away at this point. I do have some other stuff that I need to get back onto for another project that I'm doing, and kind of a sneak peek here. I'm not going to get into it much now, but once I get the other 2 portions of it done, I'll do a full video on this. Except for right now, this is only part 1 of 3 on this system. And let's go in here to project settings and maps and modes. We want to go to example map, and let's go to example map. And you can see that's it. This is the only thing in part 1. I will cover this more. Let's make sure everything's saved. Go into play. There's no character. You just, free floating entity, and these 2 change colors. Again, I won't get into it. You saw that in the other project where there were billboards and stuff like that sitting around with different things changing on it. These are actually, if I go in here to the blueprints, I can actually drag another one in. This is the horizontal sign. It is really large. This is going to be the large size. There will be a large and small version of the same. This is the horizontal. And then there's the vertical. These are the actual face of these. On the horizontal is 1920 by 1080. And this is essentially the same thing, but on its side. So it's 1080 by 1920. And the 2 that are here in the scene are actually scaled down to 25%. And yes, they have collisions, so you can run into them. They're solid. They have collisions. They're properly formatted, so when you do your lighting build, the lighting isn't affected, so it all looks the same. So yeah, I will cover more of this later on. I want to get the smaller signs and then the rest of the stuff done. But again, that'll be covered in another video. Could take a break for a little bit because Unreal Engine 4 is doing weird stuff, and I will come back to all this. So I'm going to even do that, and I'm probably even going to restart the computer because knowing NVIDIA, when things start happening stupid, it's because NVIDIA has a patch it needs to do. So it just says, screw you, we don't care. Anything and everything you're actually doing, we don't care. We're going to make everything run really shitty for no reason whatsoever until you upgrade your patch. So that's the thing. My audio, whenever my computer is working perfectly fine, and then suddenly NVIDIA needs to run a patch, so suddenly my audio quits working. I can't adjust volume levels, and then I start having weird graphical glitches. But my shit was working perfectly fine up until you needed a patch. I've been an NVIDIA customer and user for many years. Shit, I've probably been using NVIDIA products for longer than some of my viewers have been alive. Back whenever NVIDIA purchased the Voodoo series of video cards, Voodoo 2, Voodoo 3, FX, and the Voodoo cards. Whenever Voodoo was a thing, NVIDIA, the GeForce, we're gonna buy the Voodoo series of cards, but we're not gonna change a thing. Yep, just as soon as the acquisition was completed, NVIDIA said, pang, shot Voodoo in the back of the head and threw him in a dumpster. But, oh well, what are you going to do? The GeForce cards were better than anything else, and there was nothing out there that could touch them, so I just said, okay, sorry Voodoo, you're dead. Time to throw it in the garbage. Yeah, I ran some Matrox cards and other stuff too, but Yeah, I don't give a shit about your Ansel beta bullshit. I don't care. I don't use Ansel. I use low poly shit. Armored Warfare. Hell, I might even start playing some damn Armored Warfare. Or some Prison Architect. Does not look like a fun game. Stupid thing's addictive as hell. Hell, I might even go play some damn Subnautica. Or World of War shit, you know? Hell, The Crew. Just like I said in my reviews of The Crew 2, it is a beautiful game. It's a fun game, but it has very little replay. It comes across as a game you're going to play for a couple hours and never play much again. And that's been the case. I played the game for a couple hours and paid $60 for the damn thing and almost never go back. There's very low replayability of it. Even though it's an open world driving game where you can go and screw around and have fun, it's just not as fun as it should be for some reason. Don't know why. GTA 5. I played a lot of that, but who cares? So, yes, I'm going to go ahead and do my drivers and take a break for a little bit. If you guys need me, I'll be on Discord for a little bit. Might stream later. Depends on what NVIDIA does to me. And how mad I get from doing these. Hell, I might go back in there and do some more Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've already finished the storyline, so... whatever. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.